What's up, guys? Welcome back to Illuminated, the show where we seek to connect, love, and illuminate. We're your hosts, Colby Tate and
Noah Marshall. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about going to church and why, why people do that and just the purpose behind that all. But before we get into that topic in today's episode, we just wanted to start off with saying we have a special project in the works for next week's episode, for episode 10. So we are going to take the next week off, so the following week after this episode drops. We'll be working on the special episode. It's going to take us a little longer than a normal episode, so we're excited to share that with you guys. So just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I know y'all are so disappointed we're not going to be here next week, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. It's going to be a great episode. It's going to be funny. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be different. It's going to be new, and we're looking forward to it as well. So it's going to be okay, all right? We'll miss you guys too. We'll miss you guys too. But yeah, let's get into the topic. So, going to church, why should you do it? Well, I guess that has a few different reasons. Going to church, I think one big reason that you should go to church is just to make new connections. On the show, we talk a lot about, connecting and meeting new people. This is one easy way that you can do that. That's how you make connections. Go to church, talk to somebody at church, meet somebody new, invite somebody to church who you're friends with so they can meet somebody new, so they can make new connections. Yeah. It's a great way for you to build new relationships and to get to know some different people outside of your own household, Yeah.
And so here at Gateway Church that we attend, when I first started coming to Gateway, I was with my parents and, I didn't really want to go to youth group. There's other kids and I was like, I don't really know if I want to do this, and went into main service. But, once I kind of actually started going to the youth group, I met you and our other friend Caleb, and then that just kind of expanded that friend group. And so honestly, the rest is just history. But yeah, just meeting, I took that step to go to youth group, and now I have pretty much lifelong friends. So
yeah, listen, I know it can be kind of tough to convince yourself to go to church sometimes because it seems a little bit intimidating, and it seems like, you spend your entire week at school learning and that you're just going to be at church doing the same thing but learning about God. You should really try and make it less formal, right? So church doesn't have to be something that you are spending your entire week waiting up, building up this bad reputation for or something. It should be a space where you can go to relax, where you can go to just kind of hang out with your friends, meet new people, and just kind of get out of your comfort zone. Because I know that a lot of my growth has been, present in church, has been like literally coming to church to learn more. It was really hard for me to learn more about God and learn more about my relationship with Christ when I was sitting at home by myself on Sunday mornings. Or even like not on Sunday mornings, even if I'm just, at a church hangout or something. It's just a good way to start making those connections when you are building your own relationship with Christ.
And I know that, and this goes for youth groups, so students in middle, elementary, or high school. But this also goes for like the main service with other adults. When you surround yourself with people in an environment where all of you are trying to learn about the same thing, and all of you are trying to grow in your faith and grow individually, that's what's really important. Like you said, our growth has mainly been in this room here and other events and things with people from the youth group or with other adults. And I think we were very fortunate for not only the leaders that we had, but also the other students that we had here in the youth group, just because of how encouraging and just honestly how great of people they were to us. So I think meeting those people and making those connections and growing and having fun together is a really big portion of going to church.
Yeah, and I do want to acknowledge that I know that not everybody has access to church, right? Not all of us are going to be able to be a part of a family who goes to church every Sunday morning. Not all of us are a part of a community that has a local church. Not all of us are a part of a community that has a church that is welcoming to non-believers. So if maybe that's your situation, then I encourage you to go online, to ask your friends. You'd be surprised how many of your friends have a church community. And I would just encourage you to take that step and to help yourself grow closer to God by, go into the Bible app. They have a lot of different ways that you can get connected with church and with God on there, and just lots of videos online explaining to you about what church is and what it looks like. And even Gateway has an online community where you can go and watch some of our services online, gatewaychurch.com. So if that's you, I highly encourage you to explore those options.
And when, like you were mentioning earlier about how, you go through the school week and you're like, oh, it's Sunday, like, you go through your week and then I have to go to church. And maybe this is true of some churches, but it doesn't always just have to be like this, very strict, like, this is exactly, this is all that we're doing today is open your face, put your whole face in the Bible and read this. I think while that is, okay, not putting your face in the Bible, but, reading it and learning more about the Bible and God is obviously important and part of it, but that's not all that it has to be. Just spending that time with people and doing that in the same space and at the same time is, just makes it a lot easier, and it doesn't just have to be like, read this, Yeah,
and I would say it makes it a lot more fun. Being in a community where you are having your questions answered alongside your friends and alongside people your own age can be entertaining. It can be fun because a lot of times, we're asking questions that, we have no idea the answer to, and then it ends up being something completely different than what we thought. You know what I mean? It's just a way to make it less formal. It's a way to make it so that you and your friends are both growing with God together. I know that doing it myself has been a lot more difficult than, doing it while I'm sitting next to church next to this guy. So, and going to church is a great way to heal. For me, when I would come to church with my own baggage, or after, a long weekend of just not my best days, I can come to church knowing that I'm gonna leave differently than how I came in. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be a little bit changed when I go to church. And by that I mean like emotionally. So like, for example, there have been, times where I've come to church feeling not confident in who I am and not confident in God. But after being able to be around other people who are confident in God and who know Him better than I do, it's a lot easier for me to approach the subject of who God is, and it makes it a lot easier for me to be willing to get into these uncomfortable questions about what I believe about God and what they believe about God. So, yeah, I would encourage you to just explore that uncomfortable zone of going to church physically in order to, heal.
And you never know how that's gonna heal you. I mean, we've heard many stories and friends that are just going through something, and including ourselves, but also, you go and there's the message is like almost meant for you to hear. You come in, like you said, you come in with your own baggage or, whatever it is that you're going through, and it's like they wrote that message for you, or there's even just like one sentence out of that whole thing that you just connect with, and you feel that you've been healed in some way or something that you took away. And I think that's just kind of one of the just beautiful things about that.
Yeah, and you can even be a part of the healing process for somebody else. Every single day that you show up to church, you never know who's going to be there. It might be somebody's first time there. It might be somebody who's going through an abusive childhood. It might be somebody who is going through an abusive relationship. It might be somebody who has just a lot more baggage than you might realize. They might just, have a broken family, or the parents might be going through a divorce. You just don't know. And you could be a part of that healing process for them. There have been days where I've come to church and there have been people who have had their entire days, weeks changed because of the love and the warmth and the spirit that they felt when they came to church. So if you can be that for somebody else, why not? You know, the more that I go to church, the more that I know that I'm going to, you know, help somebody today, that I'm going to be bringing somebody else closer to God, while I'm also getting closer to God myself. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
And something else that I think is important and that we kind of touched on is, you know, Sunday doesn't have to be this, you know, this big build-up throughout the week and something that, you know, is just kind of like, it just doesn't have to be as big as you're making it, I think, as far as wanting to go if you are kind of taking a step back. But Sunday doesn't have to be the only day during your week that you get to experience God. I mean, a lot of times, and honestly a lot of people, and sometimes, including myself, is that, you know, we go to church on Sunday, and this is like the day that we learn about God, and this is the day that we take away things and read the Bible and we connect with others, but it doesn't have to be that way. You know, we can take that throughout the rest of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We can take that throughout all of the week and future weeks and learn more and do that on our own rather than just making Sunday the only day that you do that.
Yeah. I remember one thing that I regret in middle school was that when we would come to when we would come to church on Sundays, and then we would have small group, we would kind of go away with a new lesson, and we would say, you know, this week let's try and each of us reach out to somebody new at school. And I never did it. I never did it. You know, this week we're gonna try and be kind to our parents. This week we're gonna try and just read one verse of the Bible. I never did any of that stuff. But I'm just thinking about, like, what could I have done had I committed to that? How could I have made my parents feel if I had, you know, committed to that 1 week of just being kind to them? Mm-hmm. What could I have done to this kid at school had I, you know, actually reached out, you know? Mm-hmm. And there's just so many missed opportunities I feel like I had back then that could have been great opportunities for change, for positive change.
And it's funny because, you know, at the time you never thought about that, but looking back now, it's something that, you know, you may regret or something that, you know, you missed an opportunity on. And I think in the last week's episode we talked about the domino effect, at least for a little bit of it, and just how, you know, if you did take away with after the small group, say, hey, just acknowledge someone at school, right? Mm-hmm. Or read one Bible verse, and just how that could have affected you. You know, if you're going through something at that time, you read that Bible verse, and that was like the Bible verse for you at the time, you know, and that is just something that completely changed your day, your week, your life, or whatever, and then just the domino effect from that.
Yeah, and the thing is, it doesn't have to be some big, huge, you know, gesture. You don't have to change this person's life in the second that you meet them. Mm-hmm. It could just be literally saying, "Hi, my name is Colby. Great to meet you." It could just be a smile in the hallway. Yeah. It could just be doing the dishes for your mom, you know, or something. Just something as small as that really makes a big difference in certain people's lives that you don't realize. I know for sure for me, I always get a little bit happy whenever somebody smiles at me in the hallway. You know, like, it always just kind of makes my day whenever people are just being kind. Yeah. But if you do consider yourself a Christ follower already, and if you are already going to church every Sunday, I encourage you to step out of that only Sunday, you know, weekly confining yourself to just that day for God. I encourage you to step out of that and to start finding ways that you can connect with God throughout your week. Maybe that's, you know, spending a little bit of time in the Bible. Maybe that's talking to your friends about God. Maybe that's talking to your parents about God. Maybe that's praying before you go to bed. You know, maybe that's saying the blessing before you eat dinner. It doesn't have to be something crazy, but it could be a good habit to start getting into in order to get closer to God and to really sort of fast track your relationship with Him.
And something that also happens even just when you do go to church every Sunday, or even when you try and practice that outside of just Sundays, is there's a difference between being present and then being present. And I think the biggest way to explain that is just like, I could be in here in the youth room and I could just be in this environment and just kind of like sit there and just I guess be present in that moment. But then the other side of that is actually being here and listening to what the message is, or being involved in the worship and actually just taking something away from that, rather than just kind of like sitting there just not really into it. There's a big difference there. And when you do become fully present, that's when you begin to see just how that changes and affects you in a positive way.
Yeah, and just how it changes the group. Think about it. It's like when you're a part of a group project and one person's not putting in as much work as everybody else. And of course, not everybody is going to be fully present at all times. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that me and Noah, our entire lives have been in church, like completely focused. Every word is coming into my mind and I'm remembering everything. No, that's not how it was. You know what I mean? So what we're trying to say is, maybe next time you go to church, try and be fully present. Try and engage with somebody. Try and make this new experience a little bit different. And maybe try to incorporate that into every week, or just the best that you can. We're not saying that you have to do this every single time, because that can be tiring. We know from experience we haven't been able to do that ourselves. We're not perfect. But yeah, try to be present, guys. It can pay off. I also wanted to address that a lot of us have had bad church experiences, and not all of us have been given the opportunity to have like a ideal church home. And if that's you, I just want to let you know that I'm sorry. I apologize for these churches that don't represent the way that God really wants them to represent us. And I want to say that there is opportunity to heal from that and to grow from that, and that it can be a learning opportunity for you. I know that I haven't been a part of Gateway for my entire life, and even though I feel like this is a very comfortable space for me, I haven't always felt comfortable in every single church space. So it's really about finding the right church for you and the right space for you, because we're not all the same. Not all churches are going to be teaching exactly the same. So find what's most comfortable for you. Maybe it's online. Maybe it's an online church community. Maybe it's at home with your parents having a group church experience. Whatever it is, I invite you to just try it. Just try it, because it can really have a lot of positive benefits.
Yeah. And so we really hope that you guys just were fully present during this episode, and that you guys were able to take something away. And we also have a verse of the day for y'all.
Yes. So the verse of the day is from Romans. It says this: "So then, let us aim for harmony in the church and try to build each other up." I'll say it again. So then, let's aim for harmony in the church and try to build each other up. Another way to think about it is that iron sharpens iron, right? We want to be there for other people. We want to build each other up. As we build each other up in our own faith, we build the church. And we can build the church. We start spreading the word of God to as many people as possible. So that's going to be the big takeaway. Go to church, guys. Try it out. It's not as intimidating as you might think it is.
Yep. So again, we hope you guys got something out of this episode. We're excited for episode 10. It's going to be a very special project for us. It's, like Colby said, it's going to be different. It's going to be new. And we're really excited for it. And we hope you guys enjoy this episode and also episode 10. And also just one more reminder, we are going to be, skipping next week. So when this drops, we'll be missing the following week to film episode 10, because it's exciting.
Yeah. Hey, follow us on Instagram at Illuminated Show, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Illuminated Show. We love you guys. Stay up, stay blessed. We'll see you guys In 2 weeks.
2 weeks.